Ladies and gentlemen, it's the MGN Nation podcast. Welcome to it. I don't know what to do with my breaking news. Breaking news in this. We're going to do the breaking news. We have evidence of another moral victory. Are you excited? I think we're 2-0 in moral victories today. This year, this season.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, look at that, back-to-back moral victories. I think it might be the most moral victories in a row that we've had in quite some time. And I think the most famous moral victory is that time we gave Georgia a good game, and that was like in 2013. All right, so if you don't know, folks, and this is the thing, my wife knows. She knows, and it's kind of weird, She's like a little barometer for her. She's more casual fan adjacent than I think everybody else is, or anybody that certainly listened to the MGN Nation podcast, which is this. Welcome to it. Aldo, myself, Adam, we're here for you on a Sunday morning. It's like 8:30 in the morning for me right now, and I think it's probably like 3 in the morning for Aldo because he's.
It's still Sunday night.
Yeah.
Or is it technically Saturday night?
Yeah, I think
Whatever.
Aldo's just finishing up watching the game still. It's ending. So here's the deal, right? It's one of those things where North Texas loses 45-42, and they lost in a heartbreaking fashion, right? Last drive of the game. Yeah, the team scores a touchdown with 12 seconds left or whatever it was. And those are the
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, if you had a DVR, sorry. Those are the kinds of things that where you're like, oh, well, let me get on the message board and say, let's fire everybody, right? However, North Texas was down 31-7 at one point. And so, at that point, you're like, man, can we just come back and make it competitive? Can we just have a good game? And then I think at the point, it was at Phil Hill defending the pass. It was really the number 0 on their team dropping the pass, but that's fine. He dropped the 4th down pass that would have sealed the game. Credit to Memphis for going for it on 4th and 2, 4th and 6 there, whatever it was. Really, you're saying, hey, we're going to go win this game. I think the football gods rewarded them with a fortunate defense on the next possession. But anyway, they got the situation they wanted. They went for it. Guy dropped the pass. Chandler Rogers with the ball once again. Time to go down the field and score. Yes, he did. Can do it. He went down and did it. Was it a 47-second drive? Some people were, he scored too early. No. I think you always got to get the winning points. I think there's none of that. It's not like basketball where you just kind of just hold the ball for a little bit. Like in football, I think you got to go score. Even if there's Aaron Rodgers on their side, I think you just got to do what you got to do. They go down and score in a minute. Or is it the drive was a minute, right? They left 47 seconds left on the clock, and all the Memphis people on the internet were like, "Oh, that's it, fire everybody. I hate this. I can't believe we lost this game." And I was like, "There's 46 seconds left, man. What are you talking about? That's a whole." Do you know? Should we show you the rankings of North Texas defense again? I mean, like who are you? Who and what exactly are you afraid of? And lo and behold, it came to pass. They drove down the field in 35 seconds. They didn't need the 46. It was a 33-yard score. It looked like North Texas was going for a pass rush. I didn't see them do a big rush. It looked like 4. I haven't looked at the play again since late Saturday. But, Mason Richards kind of tried to rush inside. He got doubled. Someone was like, oh, that's a holding. Whatever. No pressure on the quarterback. He just kind of shuffled, and then threw the ball. He lofted it 33 yards down the field. And I think that Scaife dude, he's big. He's like tight end size, right? Was it Skates? I see him. He looks like a tight end. I want to call him Scaife, both Scaife. And he just kind of caught it, right? He just be big. And the guy comes from behind him. he's out of position already because he's trailing him. There's no way you're really gonna defend that. It's like like if y'all seen Wembanyama out here, the Spurs new guy. Once they throw it up to a certain point, you're like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? I can't. I just have to wait down here on Earth and see if that guy brings the ball to me. That's really all you can do. I mean, it's a little exaggerated, but the guy's like big, and you can see that he's like, which angle do I take?
You could just start by hitting him.
Yeah, so a lot of
You could
people
try
said
that.
that, and you're right. I think that's a good. I'm thinking like, how did he get 5 yards ahead of you, where you had to chase him down, and you're in trail position, and that's very difficult no matter what. But yes, the answer is tackle him, right? Just spear him.
Hit
Don't,
him.
yeah. But
Take the
I
flag
think,
if you need to.
yeah, I think even then, the ball got there before the player got there, right? And so again, that's just about positioning. Like you need to be there at the same time, or you need to be there before the ball's there. Lots of other things.
I
And
mean,
go ahead.
well, I don't want to get too into the play, right?
Yeah,
Because he was close enough to make a play on it. He wasn't that far behind that there was just nothing he could do about it. He while he was trailing, he still had the capabilities or at least the opportunity to make some kind of play on the ball. He was out of position, like you said, and didn't know where the ball was, didn't have the sense to make a football play, and that's how it ended. But whatever. I've got a whole bunch of thoughts. They're scattered all over the place. I don't know where you want to start.
yeah.
You wanted to start at the end and
Yeah. I'm saying we'll organize it. I just want everybody to just get get back into place, right? Everybody, like you had your
angry,
coffee. Maybe you watched some World Series, and you're like, oh, the Rangers, they couldn't hit the
angry
ball.
again.
Yeah, and you just you're eating your pancakes right now. Whatever you're doing, right? You're just trying to get into the sense of what's happening. You listen to this after church, you heard your good sermon or something like that. You know what I mean? And you're just feeling good or something. You're with your kids, and you're like, let me turn on this Mean Green. Let's see if I can process it. So I'm telling you all this, and now you're like, you're getting angry again, whatever. So we're all on the same page. Now we can kind of proceed. So for me, right, it is a moral. I feel good about this, and I don't know. Should I feel more angry about him? I don't know. It's because I'm getting older, and I just have more perspective on life, right? I'm not 21. Somebody called me a kid on the internet. They're like, whatever, kid. And I was like, I'm not a child anymore. But yeah, I look at my son, right? He's tiny, little toddler guy. You tell him you can't watch PJ Masks right now, and that's the worst thing you can tell him, right? He's like, no. He starts crying.
How could you?
I'm like, man, whatever, man. Just go over there to your room. It's nap time. That's the worst possible. Can't watch PJ Masks. He has to go take a nap. The worst thing to ever happen to anybody. That's what he says. Your life changes a little bit, right? Like now, again, I can see it's not quite there yet, but I can see within the next decade that getting out of bed is gonna be like a big challenge for the day. You know what I mean? Like it's not here yet, but it's over there. It's like, oh man, I have to like think about getting up. I have to warm up in my brain so I can get out of bed, right? Like you make sure I'm loose, think nimble thoughts. Nothing tightening up because you get out of bed too quick, like, and that's over. Then I go on the injury list.
Or you could even get injured while you're in bed. Like
I
the
see.
other day, I woke up and I was like, "Oh my God, my neck was stiff. It's making my head hurt." It is a being old is an occupational challenge.
Yeah, so you can see that, right? Your life changes. You're like, you know what? It's a good day today, kid. I'm excited about a nap. I was hoping I could get a nap in. And my kids like, oh, I gotta sleep. I don't want to sleep. I just want to play games. I played all the games, man. It's time for me to take a nap. I want to take a few naps if I could. Take a nap while I'm napping, maybe. That'd be great. So all this to say is like, yeah, perspectives change, right? You don't see the game the same way. So am I too light, right? Should I call for firing? Should we fire everybody, right? No, I don't think we should fire anybody. But I think it's important, right? All right, so maybe you didn't get the Seth Luttrell thing. It was 7 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever it was. He came to the league. I think that what happened, there's a market difference, right? I saw, what's his name? I can't even think of his name now. Daryl Dickey, right? Practice field. He had the practice field named after him. I saw the end of that tenure.
Hall of Fame coach Daryl Dickey.
Yeah, a lot of losing records. That guy put him in the Hall of Fame. Um, I saw the end of that. There was a whole lot of losing, not a lot of offense. And my big contention as a college student was like, man, we're gonna go down. Let's at least go down entertainingly. Yeah, I mean, let's put up 20 points on the board or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about running it into the line a couple times and then punting the ball. That's not
Against
super.
OU and A&M and Missouri all in the same season.
Yeah, it's not fun. So then they brought in Dodge. Right, he's gonna throw the ball around. We're gonna score some points. Now that was true, but he didn't play any defense. That was bad. And so towards the end of that, I was like, well, at least we took a big swing and a miss. I can respect that. But let's get somebody out here that can play some defense, that can do something. I think the underrated thing about Todd Dodge is that he put a lot of pieces in place of an offense that went on to win a bowl game. Now, Dan McCarney, I saw that whole thing. He came in talking mess about the program. Everybody's too small. I don't even know this is a college football team. He's basically, what is this? The ballerina group or something? Everybody's weak and whatever. He talked a bunch of mess. They won a ball game. He didn't really recruit because he wanted 6'5" guys with strong arms that couldn't put the ball on target. So whatever. Terrible stuff. Some bad offensive decisions. He gets fired. The worst case was that homecoming game against Portland State, and so that informs my perspective on this one.
Angry again. What are you doing? God.
It informs my perspective again because I'm like, all right, it's homecoming against a Memphis squad. 42-45 doesn't seem so bad to me, right? So I mentioned Seth Latrell. I came in like, can we get some modern offense? Can we get some of that? He's like, yeah, we can come in. We'll do some air raid. They did some air raiding. We had competent quarterback play. It was all great. Got to a couple bowl games. We lost. It was like, yeah, it's all right. We'll figure it out. Now, we never did figure that out, how to win a bowl game or a championship game or any game that was big or important at all. And so what we realized was, we got to improve on that one. So we bring in Eric Morris and say, all right, we're going to change it up. And he's like, don't need a whole lot of fixing. This is a winning team. And then after a couple weeks, he's like, it does need a whole lot of fixing. Let me put some disciplinary, rules in there. Bench a guy. You don't know who we benched because, whatever. We don't know who got benched, but somebody got benched. Just trust me on that one. Now, some people got benched, whatever, and now they're out there competing, and so we feel a little good about it. So we got a couple moral victories to our, to it. Now, that has that potential, right? We're talking about this in 5-10 years. We're like, remember Eric Morris and how many moral? He was 0-8 in these games, but he was 8-0 in the moral victory department, right? It could be that we do that. Right now, I think it's premature to say that kind of stuff. I do like that we came back 2 weeks in a row from down 21-28, whatever like that. Made a joke that apparently we just gave everybody a head start. Like, I like a challenge. Once we're down 21-0 in the second half, 21 points, now it's time to play.
I think you just went through
the entire history of the Texas.
With the past 20 years in the worst possible way. Just went through all the hits, make all the listeners just royally, not just pissed, but sad.
Well, it's funny. My mother-in-law, what'll happen sometimes is that she'll call my wife, text her or something. She's like, hey, what are y'all doing? We're like, oh, we're watching the game. She's like, what game? I'm like, the North Texas game. She's like, oh, y'all still follow them, huh? There's some form of that conversation that happens. Like, yeah, yes. Saturday afternoon, 2:00. Time for some Memphis versus North Texas football. Let's get it, guys. And hey, we're down 31-7. Like, man, it's good old North Texas football,
I promise you, it'll get better. Just keep watching. I know you're falling asleep on the couch.
Yeah, if you're like, hey, North Texas losing 28 points, and you're like, yeah, that's about how it goes, right? Gina my wife, she made this joke too. She said, she's like, yeah, like, I remember a lot of times where it was 45. That was their magic number, and our magic number was like 0. I was like, yeah, I get it. So she's like, it's nice to have 42 on the board next to their 45. And so I want to acknowledge that she's casual fan adjacent, right? If I was like, hey, name 3 players from the team, she's like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Can't do that. It's not gonna happen. And that's fine. She watches the game, but she's not Really, because I look at her and she's like going through some, TikToks or something like that. You know what I mean? So I get it.
So
We're some outliers here, and then we can name some people from every one of those teams that I just mentioned, right? It's like, well, when they switched this way and they lost this player. Anyway, go ahead, please.
well, and when we're talking about the folks that listen into the show, there's no spoilers here. They know what the score was. They're probably angry. They're probably yelling at you, like, "What are you talking about? I hate moral victories. I just want a victory, victory."
Yeah, we're just
I,
regular, no prefix on it.
what is going on? Now, I'm kind of in the same feeling that you have, but in a different. I got there in a different way. Um, I'm more resigned than anything else. After the second game of the season, which was what FIU,
Yeah.
I knew that you just knew that the defense was just not good enough. They were not. They were going to be a problem. They were going to be a liability. And like a lot of us said, that this season was going to be a boat race every single game, and that was the only way we could win the game. And you're seeing that clearly. Um, and Chandler Rogers is being asked to be perfect in order to win these games, which is not fair. But uh, he's as perfect as he can be for a North Texas quarterback. I don't think I've ever seen a North Texas quarterback play like this ever
He
in
threw
my
49 passes in this game. He completed 32 of them, 411 yards, 5 scores, no interceptions.
in not only that, but the last 6 games, I think it's 6 games that he's been a full-time starter. That is the best 6 game stretch of quarterbacking I've ever seen. I know it's had its up and downs, and we're like, what is he doing? But it's been an improvement over the last 6 games, and it's crazy to say it's an improvement from a 310-yard game. Now we're talking about 411-yard game, and he's getting better. I think yeah, that's the positive that we're all leaning on, trying to make ourselves feel better, trying to just see the light at the end of the tunnel. Um, but the defense just looks like what we've seen before. Like you and I have been watching UNT football for what is it, 20 seasons now? Is this our 20th season watching?
I mean, that's not. It's closer to 20 than it is to 2. So yes,
Right.
I
And so
agree
we've
with you.
seen this before, right? With Todd Dodge and the boat races that happened back then. And it feels it doesn't feel the same way. We've got the talent on the offensive side of the ball. If it looks like a strong offense, both talent wise, scheme wise, it's a night and day difference. Where okay, we don't know what we're gonna get on offense, and boom, Chandler Rogers answers the call. Um, but on defense, it has been such a step back from what we've seen in last 10 seasons. Maybe that's an exaggeration. No, that's not an exaggeration. It's one of the worst football teams, worst defenses we've ever seen in the whole country for quite some time. And I don't I don't blame the scheme. I don't blame the defensive coaching. It's I blame the staff for not putting in the right pieces, for not recruiting properly, for not uh, teaching how to tackle in the preseason. That's where my blame lies. But back to my original point is that I'm resigned. I knew it right off the bat that this defense was going to be bad. It's going to be a problem, and we have to lean on the offense. Now, the offense has performed way beyond my wildest expectations. So that's where it's gotten fun, I guess. I don't know if it's fun. It's gut wrenching. Um, and so that's where like okay, all right, let's focus on the defense for next season. I'm already thinking about next season. Because if we can just get them back to up to average, we're gonna just whoop up because this is a high quality offense we're talking about.
Yeah. So I recognize that. I respect that. I think there's a lot of football to be played, and you can still figure out who you have now, and it tells you a lot of things, right? So I think what's important to know. What's important to note here. Um, Last year we went to Memphis, and it was I think North Texas fell to 2-3, 1-2 on the road. It was a game after which Seth Luttrell was like, I think we can compete with these teams. You know what I mean? It's pretty good. Please let me keep my job. North Texas lost that one by 10, right? 44-34. And then after that game, we felt like, hey, the defense played a little bit better. The offense, if they can just get out of their own way, they'd be a lot better. Austin Aune in that one went 27-49. The same number of passes, 49 yards, 49 attempts, 371, 3 scores, and 2 INTs. It was those 2 interceptions and I think a fumble late. I think 2 of those picks were like pick sixes, if I remember right. Right? It's just a lot of those things. And, we held Seth Hennigan to 19-21, 141 yards. And that was kind of it, right? They scored. We couldn't stop the run game. Basically, what I'm getting at was a lot of similarities. And I think we felt okay about it, right? Like, a lot of people still wanted to fire Seth Luttrell. But I think there was some people came away with it. Were like, you know what? That was better. Like, we were defending the pass a lot better. That was our big weakness last season. And this one, 49 attempts from our QB, 411 yards, 5 scores, no interceptions. It's a lot better. Obviously, Seth Hennigan played a lot better, too. He still just threw the one score. The real weakness is that we couldn't stop their back, right? Watson, 169 yards on the ground on 17 attempts, 100 yards receiving on 5 catches, and he had 2 scores with that. And a lot of that came in that first half, right? He just running free. The highlights, it just shows him running. And, a bunch of North Texas guys like, whoa, why do you get that? Let's go. So that's it, right? You go 14 points in the first half. Yeah. Yeah, you can't really fix that. You can't do a late season trade, right? You can't do a little mid-season signing. The team you have is the team you have. And so, yeah, I think, okay, well, we can blame the staff, the current staff a little bit and say, hey, how come y'all didn't bolster this side of the ball a little bit? And, to their credit, I think they tried to do a little bit of that. Eric Morris said, hey, what I did the first time I was a head coach at Incarnate Word was stack the roster with a lot of transfers and things. And that didn't quite work out from a chemistry, team building, culture building kind of thing. And I wanted to do something a little different there, right? So we asked for experience, we got experience, and he's making informed decisions. So I don't know if we can complain about that when that's what we asked for, right? Like, hey, can we get the hamburger? Here's your hamburger. Like, I didn't know it was gonna have meat on it. Yeah, so what? That's what it is, right? We got what we ordered, and I think we gotta let them grow into it. So you gotta be a little patient, and so it's what I recommend, right? Let's be a little patient here, even on the defensive side of the ball. I think what he's done is take a very good offense that was playing a little bit different system, but a lot of similarities, and then improve. I think the offense has been great, right? Chandler Rogers has been phenomenal,
without a doubt.
And so if we're gonna he gets both, right? He inherited guys on the team, right? Like I was like, look at the pass chart from last season, the box score. I know you don't have it up, but I'm looking at it right here. Leading rusher last year: Oscar Attaway, Ayo Adeyi, Ragsdale Horton, right? Leading pass catchers: Jordan Smart, Jamori Macklin, Rod Burns, Jair Shorter, Damon Ward, Jake Roberts, Tommy Bush. Those are the guys, right? Most of the same guys that you have here, right? Just absent one or two. Our leading rushers this time: Ayo Adeyi, Oscar Attaway, Kaylon Horton. Then you're mixing Landon Sides. This is one change. Leading pass catchers: Damon Ward, 8 for 20 on 11 targets. He had a great day. Jamori Macklin, you remember him? Rod Burns, 5 grabs, 102 yards, 3 scores. Career day. Little Landon Sides in there. Little Blair Conwright. Jordan Smart, hey, him again. And then you got Trey Cleveland, and then a couple other guys, right? It's basically the same squad, basically the same offense. And so, we're going to say, well, he inherited a lot of what he's doing good with, right? He brought in the quarterback. That's a big change. He inherited a lot of what he's doing bad with defensively, too. And, that's the name of the game. I don't think everybody can just bring everybody in on a transfer thing. We can't. North Texas is not the same place as some of those other ones. It's not a SMU. It's not some of those places where you just bring in 30 transfers and then change it all up. I know everybody. Let me just say this one part. Everybody was praising TCU last year. Like, oh, look at them. How come we're not doing like that? You just came in and got a bunch of transfers. They won college football playoffs. Yes, and they're losing right now, right? Doing a lot of losing. And I know you're saying, well, I'd trade one college football playoff season, national championship game for 10 losing seasons. Sure, you didn't know you're getting that trade, right? They fully expected to compete this year too. Right? They did the same plan, expecting a similar outcome. One, I think they got a little lucky last year, right? They weren't really expected. They weren't trending for a national championship game. And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, hey, look at this. Circumstances fell into their lap. National championship game. So, when everybody talks about process, this is the process, right? It's gonna look like nothing's happening. You have to still execute your process. I think part of the process is doing a lot of losing, having it be imperfect, and then maybe the best thing you get on a week is a moral victory, right? Sometimes
We're undefeated in moral victories,
yes,
by the way.
yeah, in the moral win column, 2-0. I like
Um, so that's kind of where that's part of what is feeding into my resignedness.
it. Mm-hmm.
eh, that I know this is what we've got and this is what we're working with, and Eric Morris has got the wiggle room of being a year one head coach,
He can do some
and
wiggle. He's doing
yeah,
some
and
wiggles.
he's allowed to do this. Not allowed to do this, but with the and I know that this is weird to say because the defense is historically bad. It's so bad that nobody could have expected this bad. Um, but I don't think, and again, I don't think it's the defensive coordinator's fault, right? To put this product out on the field, put these guys out in the field, and have them perform the way they have been performing. Now, maybe where they should be faulted on is being able to teach these guys in the film room how to identify plays, how to identify keys. There was the second long touchdown run from Memphis. It was an run option,
Mm-hmm.
and the defense on the defensive side we overloaded on the defensive right, so the left side of the line because that's where the quarterback was leaning towards. Safety out of nowhere, number 6 just comes in, guns blazing through I don't know the gaps, A, B, or C gap on that side. Even though there was only 3 or 4 guys attacking that side, when in fact the running back was coming in through the gaps on behind him, and
Yeah.
so by the time he identified that problem, that running back was gone, and so everybody had to turn around and chase, which was has have you ever played this game called shoot it's this like 8-bit app where it's football and they have an NFL version and they've got a college version. It's called RB College. Anyway,
Yeah.
each player has a specific amount of stamina, right? So you throw the pass to the wide receiver. He might be super duper fast and he's running down the field and he's got the rest of the defense chasing him down, but after a while his stamina runs out and they kind of slows down and they tackle him. And so you got to work on increasing that stamina. But that wasn't the case with the running back. He would speed off, and you see the defense just like and that distance increase between the running back and the rest of the defense. I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole, but
No,
it
I mean,
hurt my soul to see that.
I think that's good, right? Is that like we said this before? Is that I don't know that the defense has a lot of good players that they don't have game changing talent at the AAC level. What I mean by that is that there's a lot of fast guys, and I'm not saying I can go out there and do it. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is that they don't have anybody that you say that makes a defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator go, oh, that's we're gonna have to change up what we do just a little bit, right? Like the way we block, the way we design plays, because say that guy he's talking about that football game. He'll chase somebody down. He'll make somebody make a move that he wasn't expecting to make. Right? He changes the game. We don't have anybody like that. Like they're like, yeah, we're good. We're just gonna run the play that we're gonna run that we practiced all week. We feel confident that we can do some things. There's a couple guys you gotta worry about. Right? Hey, Logan Wilson, he's kind of a ball hawk. He'll be in around the ball. Jordan Brown, leading tackler again today. He's been making a lot of tackles. To just identify him. Make sure we get a hat on him. But it's not like, all right, usually we have our running back do this, but we're gonna need to fix that because this guy's gonna blow up running backs. Or, usually we're fine with our number one receiver, going head to head with their number one corner, but This time, we might just need to throw it in a completely different direction, right? We don't have that guy. We don't have that kind of player. And that changes the game because we needed that kind of player, right? We needed, we said like Marcus Davenport, Jalen Ferguson that Tech and UTSA had made us change our game. And you remember that, right? That famous North Texas drive against UTSA, the drive, right, where that Mason Fly did. One reason it was crazy is because in that second half, the dude Davenport was just hitting Mason Fine all over the place, right? Like he just kept disrupting everything. Had to change the way they did everything. Had to change the play calls. And North Texas couldn't just walk up and down the field the way they were in the first half. We didn't really have that. In this one, we know they're gonna throw. That's the time for your pass rush to shine. I love Mason Richards, but he got locked up, right? That was it.
He got yanked down to the ground.
Yeah,
Yanked down to the ground is what happened.
yeah. So he got held to it, but yeah, that's what I'm saying is that like the effect was Seth Hennigan wasn't even pressured because I've seen that happen where the guy has to hold because he's like in his face, and you know what I mean. It's like a desperation thing. I think they kind of did off to the side. Hennigan was just kind of looking. He like not even on that play. The first couple plays, he threw 20-yard passes, complete. Man, I'm just a little rolled out. There you go, 20 yards down the field, right? That it was very easy for him, and I think North Texas was saying, let's sit back, let's throw defenders out here. I'm not a defensive coordinator. I don't have the answers for all this, but I don't know that we had a whole lot of tools right to throw at them. That's why I was like, 46 seconds against a talented team. We saw what Watson could do. Maybe they throw a little screen pass. Do I have confidence that they're going to be able to catch him in the open field? Not really. You know what I mean? Like I think the deck was a little bit in their favor. The circumstances were in our favor, right? But the players on the field, can they drive down? Yes, it's very possible. They put up 600 yards. I want to say like that's unacceptable. I mean, sure, nobody's accepting 600 yards, but I mean, like, do you have the tools to stop it? Like it's not acceptable for a train to run me over, but I mean, maybe I should get out the way, right? I'm not gonna Superman it or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's some things that are just gonna happen to you if you're in those circumstances.
Yeah, and that's why I'm resigned. Low expectations. Year one coach.
Yeah,
Um, Exceeded expectations in a lot of ways. Is not meeting expectations in other ways, but in a in a small department, but huge impact.
yeah,
If that makes sense. I think it's fixable. I think it's fixable within
yeah.
the next 2 seasons. That we improved recruiting. Um, have the staff trust their eyes when they're going out and finding the right guys to put on the field. Defensive line, there was a 6'5" recruit that committed from Braswell. I saw that this morning. So, we're working on already to fix what we're seeing. So
Talent upgrade. It's really, and then like once we have a culture set, Eric Morris led culture set, then we can say, all right, let's get some guys that can fit this. They're gonna play the way we want to play. And then, obviously, hopefully we have to keep up the offense. But I have more confidence in that than otherwise. Look, I'm looking at the drive chart here. 3 straight scores in the fourth quarter, right? We talked about it. That's very tough to do. That was the thing that last year, right? We have to compare it to last year and the last couple seasons where the offense was very explosive, but it would turn the ball over and it had a hard time putting a series of drives together. We praised them when it was time to praise them, right? I said this a bunch of times when they played against UTSA in October. There was a lot of good, right? They scored when they needed to, but when it was time for them to score and go up, they couldn't do it, right? This team is a little different in that one. It starts very slow, and that's frustrating. And I'd like them to move up whatever they're doing in the second half a little bit earlier. Some of that I think is they're just seeing what the defense is doing and then just kind of adjusting to it. But 4 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. 10 plays, 82 yards, touchdown. 5 plays, 69 yards, touchdown. And then the last play, which they just kind of, did some stuff.
yeah.
The play description of that one is hilarious because it's a paragraph. It's like pass left to complete, lateral this way, lateral that way, lateral this way.
Yeah, and I know your frustrations on the first half of football. It's as I've been watching it, it's just been poor execution. Like it's not much changes between the two halves. It's just the execution hasn't been great, and that's where we're asking. That's where what I mean about having to ask Chandler Morris to be perfect.
Wait, Chandler Morris, is that
I
like
mean,
their
oh shoot, my bad.
that's like their
Fire
presidential
me.
slogan, right? Hey, vote Chandler Morris, Morris for president.
uh Chandler Rogers to be perfect. And he was perfect in that fourth quarter. Three drives, three touchdowns, made the put North Texas ahead for what, 35 seconds.
Hmm.
And that's there's only so much he can do, right? There's
Yeah,
that cliche of he can't play defense. And I mean that's true. We he can't. He's a superstar when it comes to quarterbacking across the nation. I think we should all step back and appreciate that. Um, and sometimes there's miscues. Guys drop balls. Offensive linemen can't block great, and Oscar Attaway gets blown up. But I think I'm again back to the resigned feeling is that I'm enjoying watching him play. Not being we've never seen this kind of quarterback play before, and sure, it would be great if we did have an average defense that could we'd be undefeated, right? Or whatever. Um, but we have what we have, and I'm just watching the offense play, and it's awesome.
yeah. So I think it's like this is good. I think I came away from this game feeling good because I see progress. Right, we always want momentum towards getting better, and I think this team is getting better. Right. Last week, as far as good as the offense played, they only scored 28 points. Right. This week, as good as the offense played, they scored 42 points, which is, I don't know if you know this, 42 is greater than 28. And like you say, the defense played worse. I thought Memphis was going to be very explosive when I first saw them play against Mizzou. Right, they were just always that way. I thought, man, they're going to just score 65 on us. It's going to be terrible. So in that respect, relative to what we thought this defense could be, it's been progress. The defense is held them. Like, there's moments where you can say, look, this is good. This is what we want. Fourth quarter, it was the game. The game was on the line. If the defense does not get a stop, right? And Memphis, again, to their credit, they said, let's go for it. Let's try to win the game. Defense got to stop, right? They tackled him short. They tackled Watson short for a 9-yard gain, whatever it was. And they forced Hennigan to throw the ball. He threw the ball. We put pressure on him, made that guy attempt to make a catch. He dropped it. It doesn't matter. North Texas ball, right? Give the ball to our guy. Last week, we got the ball with a chance to go down and score. We didn't do it. Turn the ball over on downs. This week, chance to score. We do it, right? Touchdown North Texas. Go up. So the next step is, hey, we can't be a good enough defense to get a stop to get the ball back. Then we also need to be a good enough defense to get a stop, get the ball back, and get another stop to win the game. Right? That's progress. Last week, we need a stop to win the game. Didn't get it. Right? That was that last one where Tulane goes down, they go up. I think the defense is improving. So as much as we've talked mess about them, they are improving. That's all we can ask. Hey, look, if you're a Toyota, and that's fine. You're not a Ferrari. That's fine. But just be the best Toyota you can be, right? Let's make sure the oil's changed. Let's make sure everything's clean. And I think that's what we're making progress to being the best Toyota we could be, right? And that's it. That's all we can ask for. Now, are they doing it? Yes, I think they're getting to that point, and I appreciate it. Um, you
I
know,
mean, yeah, at the end of the day, they gave the office an opportunity to
to go up,
tie it up
yeah.
and go up. Yeah. So I guess they deserve credit there. But
There
in
were
key spots.
there were a lot of young players playing. I thought that dude Anderson was good, number 14. Every week there's did somebody get new numbers? Like there's like 4 new guys out there doing some things. um, I saw there's a lot of young players that are out there playing, and then those are the guys. I like that, and I also know it's a risk because you were saying it's misreads. The youth on the squad they have a lot of potential. They can be very good, right? We have a couple highly rated corners, but they're also gonna make mistakes because they're children out there, right? And so
Yeah,
yeah,
and we're all getting upset about how bad it's been, how historically bad it's been, and they're And we're because we're football fans, we're fans of North Texas, and the fans of these smaller teams like North Texas can be more passionate in a bad way than some of the bigger like Alabama fans. Like there could be somebody living in Oklahoma who's never stepped foot in Alabama before, who's a Alabama fan, and they're just jerks. They're just the biggest a-holes you ever met, and
Yeah,
it
I
just
mean,
turns out they're Alabama fans, and it just fits the bill.
we don't have we don't have a lot of vitriol, right? We got a tiny amount. Like I think it's the number of toxic fans is proportionate, right? So we got like two. We got two people like, oh, nobody likes that guy. Alabama has thousands, right?
And
Because
we
they
know
have a
them
lot
by
of
name.
fans. Yeah, that's what I'm
We
saying.
know we know who you're talking about. We see them at tailgates. Oh, it's that guy.
Yeah, we've said this before too, right? Like part of the problem with getting better and getting more people, right, on the bandwagon, people carrying, is that you lose your status within the community, right? Like everybody knows, oh, that guy's a super fan, this guy's an important alum, and that guy's, the a hole. Everybody knows those three characters. But when the fan base increases exponentially, now it's like, well, he's one of the super fans, Yeah, yeah. He wears a firefighting hat, but this guy is the other guy. He has a bit too. Look at this guy. He's the new bit guy. Like there's that kind of that thing. It changes and there's a little competition. Like, oh, I used to be
That guy
special.
is always in the pictures.
Yeah,
What? Who is
I
that
used to
guy?
be special. I'm the special boy. Anyway, so whatever. Like, I think that's human nature. Um, so the thing is, should you be happy and satisfied? I mean, whatever. Like you're out there just drinking, and working, and you go to the games, right? I don't know what how you express your level of satisfaction. Like, oh, I'm leaving, whatever. Um, you do it however it is. Should you be happy with the loss? No, I'm not happy with the loss, but I'm not upset. I don't feel like North Texas came into this game and underwhelmed. Right, against Cal, they underwhelmed and they were disappointing, and I was awful and bad and a little embarrassing. Against Memphis, I thought I saw a lot of good. A comeback. They gave effort. Right, they played to the end. All came down to a couple plays, and I think those plays can be improved on. So I feel okay about that right now. Do I love moral victories? No, they don't. They don't reward anybody with a trophy, right? Maybe your mom gives
Yeah,
you a hug. That was a
I
good
don't.
game, honey. That was good. You tried real hard. Yeah, your mama
I,
did.
I, I don't accept the losses, right?
Yeah,
As a fan, they always hurt. They suck. You can as a fan, you can always identify where we could have won. If I was coaching against, what was it at the time? Number three Oklahoma back in 2003, 2000, no, 2004, 2005.
yeah.
I could have won that game. Put me in coach. I could have done it. But I'm watching it. It's like, oh man, this sucks. There's some silver lining. Um, I know it can improve, but I've been watching long enough that I know I'm gonna have to wait.
Yeah, I will
And
say
it's all right.
so. Just on that note, because we're kind of coming towards the end of the thing. I hate to cut you. I didn't mean to cut you off, but there's a couple of decisions, right? Talking about questioning decision making, right? The two field goals, right? And one is at the end of the first half, and then the third quarter. Two Noah Rauschenberg field goals to make it 13-31. Right? I saw a lot of people just immediately, what are we doing? Kicking a field goal there. I don't know. So I get it. Mathematically, that's bad, right? But it's not played by computers. It's not played in a simulation where you're just saying, kick the field goal, whatever. That certain things help your morale, right? You look around, these guys need a win, right? They need a little something. We need to see points on the board. We need it to end positively, right? So you kick a field goal, right? Because you're dealing with humans, and sometimes they need that, right? It's like you get kids over here, and sometimes they didn't do the math problem right, and sometimes you say, you know what, that's fine. Let me give you a little hug. We'll have a little ice cream anyway, even though I said you couldn't get whatever, because you just see that that's what they need in this moment to keep moving on. Because otherwise, another loss is going to be more detrimental than what just a little tiny victory that compromises your belief and whatever. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it. I get it.
you
And I'm
you
not a
missed
fan.
out on
Yeah, go ahead.
you missed out on the 4th and 3, right? You were why don't you just take the points if you're at the whatever it was 20 something yard line, you're 4th and 3, and you go for it. You're feeling confident with your offense, but you get a turnover on downs. Well, now you've allowed 2 or 3 touchdowns, and since then, you're right. We got to get some points on the board and feel have a morale victory before heading back into the locker room, just so you have that not a palate cleanser, but feel like you can begin starting putting more points on the board after that. And I had no issues. I had more issues with going for it on fourth down when we were down. What was it, 14? Than I did. Because if he would have converted, that would have been awesome. Touchdown, 14-7, best decision ever. But there was not a conversion. I would have taken the points probably at that point. But I'm not gonna fault him for that because he's aggressive. We've seen that. Latrell was the same way. If 4th and 3, 4th and 2, um, and he would have run it into the line and failed.
Yeah,
Wouldn't cover it.
I think
Anyway,
that distinction that you have there, right? North Texas has been very aggressive in 2 games, right? They go for 2, they go for onside, they go for it, right? They're attempting to go win the game. You can feel that, and so I don't feel like this was punting on the game or something like that. I thought that this was just a little bit of a hey, this is what the team needs. We need to see the point total change a little bit, even if it's not enough. At least it's something. It's like basketball. You need to see just one of them go in, and then you can get confidence again. Because like you said, there's a little bit of go for it on downs in the first drive, right? And they go up 14, and we score. It's 14-7. Got a couple punts, and I think one of them was a 3 and out. So you're like, all right, here's 11 plays, 53 yards, field goal time, right? And then there's another 3 and out, and then second half again, they're already scoring. It's 31, whatever. Like, let's just put some points on the board, and then in the drive, just all that. I get that, right? And like I said, I think we have called out teams and whatever. You can tell when it's just an obvious give up, right? We're like, let's be aggressive here. We need. Sometimes you need to kick in the behind, like let's go for it to get everybody juiced up. And team, I don't know, let's be super conservative. And there's times when like the math says go for it because otherwise, what are you doing at 3 points? 3 points isn't doing you any good. But you're doing that for your team morale or something like that, right? I think that's coaching. That's coaching.
If you would have failed the conversion, that would have further decreased that morale that the team was feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes you have to be, you have to play, you have to read the team, and I think that's coaching. And that's why I'm not super down on Eric Morris. I mean, again, I would love to see them come out a little hotter, right? They've 2-3 weeks in a row where they have multiple touchdown drives in the second half, but in the first half it's like, we got close, or this drop, this miscommunication, this read, this fumble, that kind of thing. Final thing, I will criticize Chandler Rogers again for getting sacked, fumbling the ball.
Yeah. Throw the ball away.
Yeah, he got a little bit better because I think he was like, I think this one he's just getting rushed too quickly. He steps up and he tries to do a little move, and then they got him, from behind or whatever. That's tough. He did a better job when he's running. He's looking both ways, right? He's looking behind him, in front of him a couple times later. Overall, it's hard to criticize an offense too much. And you're like, hey, 591 yards, on total yards, 411 through the air, 100-yard rusher, right? A day you had 104. A lot of good. Three scores from Rod Burns, who's a little bit underrated here. And what I love here is that it's another time for somebody else to shine. Damon Ward, 8 grabs, 120 yards. Rod Burns, 5 grabs, 102 yards. Macklin had only 45 yards, but he had 2 scores, right? He scored touchdown in was like every game this season, right? He's been phenomenal.
Yeah, he's got a healthy streak going. It's I don't know if he's leading the nation or what, but it's a very healthy streak.
Yeah. So little sadness, right? The Rangers lost one. North Texas is seemingly out of contention in the AAC. UTSA won. They're beating ECU. It'd be nice to go play like an ECU. We gotta go play Memphis.
Memphis, Tulane, UTSA, and SMU.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the rough stretch, and I think you came out of it with 2 moral victories. Which are ephemeral. They last a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where, like, you're talking about casual teams. If and when you're in a situation where you're down a little bit, everybody's like, "Hey, well, we came back against so and so. Hey, we always make a comeback, right?" It's still another thing where people believe in your team. You don't want whatever. I don't care. I'm not interested. At the end, it is an entertainment product, and you want people to care about it. You don't want them to be like, I don't care. Now that said, nobody was at the game. I hear because it was raining.
On TV, it looked kind of healthy. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think that's another thing is that everybody has to get used to the new schedule, right? We were kind of used to 6 p.m. games, Conference USA type thing. Now it's like, hey, it's a 2 p.m. game. It's 11 a.m. game, right? We want a TV. This is what happens. You have to be a little flexible. At least we're not playing on like a Tuesday night. Because I'm not ready to watch no football on Tuesday night. I don't care. I'm not that much of a diehard, right? This is Monday Night Football. I just
No.
turn that off. I just made promises to my wife and stuff. Like, yeah, Tuesday we can go do something else. Like, can't be like, oh, yeah, by the way, North Texas plays tonight. Like on Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday game. We got to play.
Tuesday
Jackson.
does not equate to football. I'm sorry, Conference USA.
Yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Mean Green Nation podcast. Don't forget today, I think today's a scrimmage. Is it Mean Green scrimmage? I don't know. I don't have it on my. Do I have it on my phone? I don't know. My phone's been weird. I haven't been getting alerts. I think all my calendars have been weird. Like my work calendar. Someone's like, "You gonna join this meeting?" I was like, "What meeting? What are you talking about?" And then right then, bling, meeting invite popped up. I was like, "I think you sent that late." I'm like, no. I don't know. But basketball season's around the corner, right? Big games, big time stuff. Are you
A
gonna
lot
try
on
to
the
make
line.
any of the basketball games from up there in the northwest?
I'll have to check the schedule. Is there any? Are we playing Washington?
No.
Okay,
No, just
then
wondering if you're gonna get, in the whole station wagon and drive out someplace. I think the nearest
drive
one to you might be like Wichita or something.
Wichita, Washington, Wichita, Oregon. Are we playing Gonzaga? I'll go to that one.
No.
They don't want us. They're
Well,
scared.
they want to be in the Big 12 is what they want to be. I'm looking at it right now. This is me killing time so I can find it. When is that exhibition? Yeah, it's today. Exhibition. Play Sam Houston at the Super Pit. No, the nearest game that you probably can make. Yeah, see, you're not close to South Carolina, are you?
Hmm. Uh,
Boise. You can make Boise.
Boise.
Boise State. At
Yeah,
Boise State.
Boise.
There you go.
That's like I think that's like 12 hours away driving.
I mean, well, you better get started. It's December 5th. You have plenty of time to make it.
I picked one of the farthest corners of America.
Yeah, I mean, you seen like the Oregon Trail kind of stuff. There's just a lot of nothing just walking out there.
All I need is dysentery.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll get that. Yeah, they got that. They got that around there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Mean Green Nation podcast. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends. Go to the Substack. Subscribe. Appreciate it if you pay money to subscribe. It helps keep these kinds of things going. All that other good stuff. We appreciate it. Aldo, go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green.